Welcome back to the Happy Hippie Podcast. My name is Amanda McCormick. I am your host, and this week is all about gratitude. I'm truly going to go into different types of gratitude practices. This isn't like a toxic positivity kind of thing. I'm going to show you how gratitude can really shift you and change you from a place that you're in and just increase your happiness. It's brought to you by the idea that Thanksgiving is this week, and I don't know. I just felt like gratitude and exploring it in a different way as an adult has really changed. I always heard gratitude when I was a kid, and I was like, okay. Like, not that, oh my God, wait, no, that made me sound horrible. I was always happy and grateful for things I had. And like, especially when those holidays came around and people would really prioritize it. Like, you'd always see in movies too, they were like, it's family time, family and friends and love. Like, and you had to like, in the power of friendship, like you had to like really get into gratitude. And I feel like I strayed away from it for so long. And it comes from past and future thinking. Anyway, I'm going to get into it in a moment. If I haven't introduced myself to you prior, or if you're new to this show, this podcast is all about different ways that we can explore happiness, whether it be going into health, fitness, nutrition, mindset, types of books. We interview people on this show, or these types of episodes where I'm just going to talk a little bit about a topic, my favorite pieces of advice, and maybe a little bit of science behind it, because I do love science. I am a personal trainer, a yoga teacher, a certified nutrition coach, and a women's health coach as well. So I like to see things from that lens, but we do explore a lot on this show. But again, today we're going to talk about gratitude. So let's get into it. These episodes for November are going to be kind of short. I'm trying to keep them under 15 minutes. So let me know what you think about this time. If you rock with it, if you don't rock with it, but just let me know if you rock with it. And then we'll be getting back to some longer episodes in the mix. You know, we'll keep them short every now and then for December, another month about gratitude. I used to always think gratitude was kind of associated with like that toxic positivity mindset where like it almost dismissed how you were feeling about things, because people would be like, if you're upset about something, they try to diminish it and just be like, well, there's people starving. Or they'd be like, you have this, you have that. And it just made you feel unvalidated, you know, because it's okay to feel, I want to say like, I don't know, can I curse on this show? I really don't know how that works. Kind of shitty about things. You know, like the best thing that I have read was from Gabby Bernstein in terms of just feeling your feelings is good, even though if they suck, like they're feelings you don't want to feel. The way out is through, like the challenge that you have. You're not trying to get around the challenge. You're not trying to get through the obstacle. Going through the challenge, going through the obstacle is actually what heals you. You have to face the feeling. If you shove feelings down, negative things, whether it be anxiety, guilt, shame, all of that, your body holds on to it. And it holds on to it in a physical location as well over time, and it can make you sick. There's a really big correlation, if you haven't read How to Heal Your Life by Louise Hay, and just a lot of books, like The Body Keeps the Score is another one. There's a correlation between the physical body and things that you're holding down. You know, there's a lot of studies, and it could be conspiracies too, about different sicknesses that come from holding stuff in you. And it's really fascinating. But for real, like if you shove things down mentally, it's always going to be there if you don't deal with it. The whole thing about like karmic lessons and that whole ideality of things is like, you're going to have to deal with it again if you don't deal with it. So feeling your emotions is the best way to do it. I used to be taught, don't cry, hold it in, all that. But when I cry, I truly feel better. Like if it boils up and I gotta cry, I gotta dance, I gotta yell or something, then I'm gonna do it because that's what's gonna heal me. Then afterwards is where gratitude comes in, where shifting the mindset comes in. So I don't believe in telling people when they feel shitty, oh, don't worry, it'll get better. Like, or you'll get over it. Or you have this, you have that. You have to let the person feel it, and then you can switch to the positivity mindset. Mindset shifts and perspective shifts. You have to feel it. You can't disvalidate somebody. And then you can change your mindset. So Gabby Bernstein writes about this. She calls it the choose again method. It's in her book. It's in Super Attractor, but I think it's also in The Universe Has Your Back, which is a book where she just kind of breaks down all of those. If you're interested in a book to tune into the universe, like the word the universe, or just like spirituality, or just how these things work. She talks about law of attraction a little bit in there, manifestation and all that. That's a great beginner's book. It's not like a beginner's book. Like I still reread it. It's great. And then the next one that she has about manifestation is called Super Attractor. I really do recommend her stuff because I feel like a lot of the way she broke down stuff is how I still think of it, and how I probably talk on this podcast comes from a lot of different authors that I've read and internalized their analogies for things. So she uses the choose again method. it's basically what I just said, where you feel your feeling, you don't avoid it, you deal with it in some way, whether it be journaling, just acknowledging it. You can just be like, okay, I feel shitty about this, and sit with it for a minute. And nobody wants to sit with it. I don't want to sit with it, but you have to sometimes. And then you can choose the next best feeling thought. And a cool way she describes this is Abraham Hicks has a book as well, and they talk all about law of attraction. It's called Ask and It Is Given. It's one of the earliest books I read. Just kidding, I didn't finish it. I finished most of it. I don't finish a lot of books. I do though. Most of the ones I talk about I finished, but I did not finish that one. I have like 20 pages left, and it's not sad. I made it down like hundreds of pages. In the last 20, I was like, I think I got it. It was a good book, but I can't lie. There's like 20 pages I didn't get. In the book, they have an emotional guidance scale, which I've also talked about in terms that like when you feel a certain emotion, it's telling you something. So sometimes an emotion could be telling you like something or don't like something, and you can use that to help build and sculpt your life in a way. But there's a scale of the emotion. So like, ooh, I forget the lowest. But like I'm going to pull up the photo because it would just help me. Okay. I had to Google one just because I feel like me guessing off the top of my head won't be really good for you or myself. The lowest thing is fear, grief, depression, despair, powerlessness. That falls in the last category. One step above it. So think of it as like a rainbow. So this is like the lowest color. One step above it is jealousy. Above jealousy. So these are vibrations, by the way. I didn't explain that well enough. These vibrate at a certain level. So the reason that they didn't just compile this like these two people randomly. Energetically, feelings are on a different vibration. So that's why people are like, I'm on a high vibration. You'll hear in a moment what those vibrations are per se. And you can move up and up the scale, and it will physically shift you and make you feel better. And they always say things like, oh, you can't manifest from a state of low vibration and this and that. That's what it means. It means moving out, shifting your perspective, changing how you feel, how your mind feels based on your emotional guidance. So again, the last thing, the lowest one on the scale is the feeling of fear. And a lot of things come from fear. So the word fear would be the bottom word. But for example, like grief, depression, despair, feeling powerlessness, worthlessness, unworthiness, I just made that other word up, is fear, you know? And one step above that is going to be insecurity and guilt. And then one step above that is jealousy. And above jealousy is hatred. So she was saying, when you feel depressed, it's actually better to feel angry, because it's really hard for somebody to go from feeling literally depressed to feeling, let's look up higher on the chart. So if you move like 5 spots up, you have disappointment actually. And then moving up from that, you have contentment and hopefulness, optimism. Then you have passion and joy and expression, empowerment, freedom, love. It's going to be hard for someone to jump from insecure depression to hopefulness and freedom and love after sitting there a minute with their feelings, you know, and be like, oh, right, true. Anyway, I'm going to choose freedom, hope, and love. Like, it's not going to happen right away. So she likes to say, choose the next best feeling. So if you can just start to get angry about it, it's actually better than being stuck in depression. Like, you start to get angry about yourself, like, oh my gosh, I'm depressed. This is making me angry. I'm using depressed as the emotion in this example. I'm not trying to discredit depression or anxiety, but I'm just saying those words as like a quote unquote feeling, you know? So again, like you get angry, or if you get jealous, technically jealousy is below anger. So if you start getting jealous, but then you start to get angry about something, then you can start moving up even more, and you're blaming. Blame is above anger. So you start blaming people, but then you get overwhelmed by it. That's above it. So you can go through this like whole emotional scale almost, but then eventually maybe you're just bored. Maybe you're just content. And maybe you're feeling a little hopeful now. Like, you know, you can work into it. So sometimes feeling the feeling and just trying to reach the next best feeling, maybe you can reach hopefulness. I feel like sometimes I can shift into like a little bit of a higher one. But even if the next best attainable thing is still low on the scale, you're moving up the scale and it's going to be easier. It's like taking a step up a staircase or taking 10 steps. Like your leg is not going to reach that 10 steps. So moving to the next best feeling is a good way to get out of that feeling, the other feeling. Now, I have not spoken one thing about gratitude, and you're probably like, oh my gosh, but I just kind of wanted to talk about that because I always find sometimes I used to think gratitude was dismissing what I felt and moving on to something else. And you know, the things they always teach you in school, like you're thankful for a roof over your head or your family or this and that. And it's so true. Like you can go to that. But I find a lot of the times my biggest piece of advice would be to try some sort of gratitude meditation. They will take you through guided prompts and maybe things will come up, and like sometimes letting someone else do the work for you in terms of letting them do the speaking so you can like dive in is a lot better. It's easier. You can just sit there and kind of relax almost in terms of like, and you'll have more profound thoughts if you have a little bit of guidance, especially if it's something that gratitude isn't something that like you're doing a lot of, or if it's new to you, someone else can definitely help bring things out of you. Again, I always say it, I do have tons of gratitude meditations on here, but this isn't a plug. You can find them anywhere if you wanted to, but trying some sort of guided gratitude meditation might be really useful to help unlock it a little bit or guide you along what I was just talking about. Moving up into those emotions and having somebody kind of take you on that journey can help, because invalidating your experience isn't what gratitude is about. So gratitude can bring you up the scale though. It literally can. Not dismissing that, like I was saying before, but shifting into gratitude can help almost fast track you through that scale in a way. So a lot of meditations, if I want to raise somebody's vibration, so like a lot of my manifesting meditations and other people's that I've done as well are similar in the sense that before we go into like the manifestation or setting intentions, we want to bring your vibration up. We want to take you out of whatever place you were just in, because even in yoga classes, like you don't know what the people are doing before the class. Or when I used to lead meetings at my job, I used to always start with a meditation, because it's like, I want to bring everybody here most of the time. And I know it because I'm a human, my head is going to be somewhere else. Someone else's head is going to be thinking about the argument they just had, or the meeting they have later, or this and that when they come into the space. So it's nice to clear that energy. And then once I clear it, I want to like have a good meeting with everybody. So I try to bring the vibe up, which is having them do a little bit of a gratitude practice, because gratitude will literally raise your vibration and bring you into a higher state. And gratitude can come down to just being in the present moment. And when you escape the worrisome thinking, which is hard, I know, and you never really truly escape it, but taking a moment to just ground, to be present, to not think about the past, not think about the future, and just come into the here and now, you can really tune in to appreciating what you have. And a lot of times a body scan can start it. You know, doing a body scan meditation where you're sitting there and you're working from your feet to your head, noticing what you have. And then even almost like my favorite thing to do is a body scan where I start at my toes and I start thinking about the things my feet take me through, moving up to my calves, my thighs. Like it allows me to exercise and this and that. And it really, really starts to like anchor you into the moment, and you actually feel the appreciation. It's not just being like, say what you're grateful for and you're like, oh, my body, but actually sitting with it, sitting in the present, feeling it and getting there. It starts to make it real. It doesn't just make it something that you would do in a classroom when you're in kindergarten. It makes it something that's so true, and you're in the present moment and you're just feeling that, and it's like actually help. Like, I don't know. I just feel like grounding yourself and doing gratitude in a meditational form, and that could be a journaling exercise for you as well, because meditation can be a lot of different things, really helps. And a journaling and a meditation practice for gratitude has changed my life, seriously. There have been times where I've just literally felt sad, so down. It could be whatever. Usually for me, it's something happens and I start to topple into the next thing and the next thing, and it like builds up and I have to release it. So again, like I said, I think I said this in my embarrassment episode, but like when you hold those feelings, they go places and you need to shake them out somatically. You can move them out in different forms, in different ways, which is why in my chakra series that I was talking about before, each chakra represents a different thing, like balance and unbalanced. So in the embarrassment episode, I was talking about how shame is held in the solar plexus. So doing things to help balance the solar plexus, which are things that are going to warm your body up and build heat, exercise, dance, things like that. It's going to help move that feeling of shame and embarrassment out, like move it around your body so you're not just holding it in one place. So doing things like that and like embodying and working on those areas so if you're feeling a certain emotion, I do have those little guides. They're free in my bio if you want to check out each of the chakras, but each unbalanced chakra is associated with almost like a negative emotion. You can find where you're really feeling it and maybe do work in that area, and it can help in that form. But I just wanted to mention that because it's on my mind, and it really does help when you focus in on that area, or finding journal prompts that can help with that as well. But doing gratitude is truly the only way that I feel like I can actually get myself out of a funk when I'm feeling down and I start to do a gratitude practice. Of course, like I was saying for the first 8 minutes of this episode, allowing myself to feel it is something I have to do, and I can shake and move and feel it and then do a gratitude practice. I find that's the best combination. But this Thanksgiving, try to truly explore gratitude, not just like when you sit around the table and you're like, oh yeah, I'm thankful, and you move on. Doing some real gratitude work is amazing. It's like I said, vibrationally, it takes you up it takes you right up it. It's like a shortcut, it takes you all the way up, and you can truly feel that difference. I'll link some of my favorite gratitude meditations in my bio here so you can check them out. Some are on YouTube, some are my own, but like I'm truly just sharing them with you for free because I love them. And I don't know. This episode was a lot of just like thoughts from the heart. I wanted to speak about gratitude, and my friend Kayla, she does a book club, so her name's Sundays KK on Instagram, and she runs the podcast Skinny Dipping. And one thing she always says in the book clubs that I really resonate with at the moment, it's okay to like not have a point. Like, you can just share sometimes, and I feel like that's what this episode is. I like to do structure, I like to do bullet points, I like to be like, all right, we're gonna do this and this. But I wanted to let you know that gratitude's changed my life. Feeling my feelings also have helped, and a gratitude practice is great. I can go into an episode where we talk more about gratitude, or I can share how to create your own gratitude practice if that's something you're interested in. But for now, I feel like I just wanted to leave you with this little tidbit into exploring gratitude, and some links below if you want to check out more meditations or practices to help you out. But thank you so much for listening. Again, you can reach me on Instagram, Happy Holistic Hippie. I've had multiple accounts. I hope you have a great day.